Welcome to MSP Voice, the weekly show for MSPs by MSPs. Brought to you by MSP 360, the #1 cross-platform cloud backup. Learn more at MSP360.com. This is MSP Voice. Hello and welcome to MSP Voice. This is episode number 63. Today I am pleased to be joined by Nancy Sabino with SabinoCompTech out of the Houston area. She's got a great story. Her and her husband started this company. They've been through a few transitions, so definitely stick around to listen to it. Fun interview. Some housekeeping items. Again, MSPvoice.com is your source for all things MSP Voice. I do apologize that there has not been an episode for the last couple of weeks. A lot of that was due to my work as well as personal travel schedules. So this is the first episode here in a couple of weeks, but I'm glad to be back. Also, if you want to be a guest, because this show doesn't happen without you, go to mspvoice.com and click on the Be the Next Guest link. Fill out the form. It's easy, I promise. It's just a quick little interview. One thing I did want to share here is for October, I will be hitting the road again. So my travel schedule for October is next week, October 8th through the 10th. I'll be in Newark, New Jersey for the Robbins Roadshow. October 24th through 25th, I will be in Boston, Massachusetts for the final ASCII show of the year. And then finally, kind of ending conference season for me for this year is October 30th through November 1st in Orlando for IT Nation Connect. That's a pretty big show. We've got some surprises in store for you. We'll be announcing that hopefully in an episode or two in the coming weeks. So that's kind of where I will be. If you're going to be in any one of these places, at any one of these shows, definitely find me. Say hi, love to talk to you, love to chat, and maybe get you set up for the next episode. Not a whole lot of news that I prepared for this week, but one thing that has been in the news ever since yesterday, which was Monday, is Microsoft Azure's Windows Virtual Desktop is now generally available. So it's been released. I've been following this myself. I'm kind of interested to see if any of you, the MSP community, will be using this service for any of your customers. I know a lot of you use Office 365 and Azure and those types of things for Microsoft. So just kind of interested to see if there's going to be a big MSP push for Windows Virtual Desktop. I also know that some of you probably already host your own virtual desktop infrastructures for your customers. So it'll be interesting to see, will this kind of conflict with what you're doing there or not? So anyway, that's the news. Hope to see you guys out on the road somewhere in the next month. I promised November and December I'm not traveling. I don't want to. So traveling is fun, but then it's not. So enjoy this interview with Nancy Sabino, again, SabinoCompTech. Had a great time, and I'll talk to you next week. Hello and welcome to MSP Voice. Today I am very pleased to be joined by Nancy Sabino of SabinoCompTech out of Houston. Nancy, introduce yourself.
Hi there. My name is Nancy Sabino. I am CEO and co-founder of SabinoCompTech. We are a small MSP firm outside of Houston.
Cool. Now you said co-owner. Your other co-owner happens to be your husband. Is that correct?
Yes. My handsome husband.
So it's a family business.
It is, yeah. So we actually kind of walked into it. I say walked into it, but I think our story is very similar and yet a little bit different than most other MSPs that get started on their own and that kind of thing. We were 22 when we first started this journey together. Okay. And we had 2 babies. So we had a 3-year-old and a newborn on the way. Mm-hmm. And he had been working at a local IT, it was actually called Your Local Computer Store.
Okay.
They're no longer in business, so I can say that. But so he started there, and there was things that just weren't being done in a way that he felt like that was the best. Yeah. I had worked there at some point in time, so we knew that we wanted to work together.
Okay.
And then so we decided one day at the age of 22, the arrogance, we can do this better and let's do it on our own. So that's what we did in our living room. And We have gone through so many different renditions of the
Mm-hmm.
business. I think we're on to like SabinoCompTech 3.0 now. And
Only 3.0?
3.0, yeah. So it's been fun.
Great. Now, did you guys start off as like do you consider yourself an MSP? Did you start in break fix? How do what's your business model like?
Yeah, so the 3.0 is
Hmm.
definitely the MSP model.
Okay.
So we started off as break fix, so break fix and residential.
Hmm.
So that was a kicker, and we went from like working out of our living room to getting a location to
Cool.
then a bigger location, and then shutting everything down and
Oh,
restarting. Um,
okay.
yeah, so that was 2.0.
Okay.
In 2015, I was accepted into the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. And so
Cool.
that kind of started the journey of changing our entire business model.
Hmm.
We closed down the residential shop within a month of me starting that program.
Okay.
And then we started looking into what would be best for us and what
Hmm.
would be the most value to what we would offer.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where we stumbled upon the MSP model. And like most MSPs, and I think most MSPs are probably still doing this. We started off with the gold, silver, platinum type
Yep.
of plans and that kind of thing. And then 3.0 came along, and we switched over to one just one service that encompasses everything. All of our clients get that one service, and if you aren't ready for that service, that's okay. We'll talk to you in a little while.
And you've branded that the Awesome IT way, I see from your website.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, it's a great name. It's a great way to brand it. Because everybody wants awesome IT.
Yeah, you would think, yes. You would hope so.
Well, they want it. They just may not always want to pay for it.
That is also true.
um, so, understanding that, obviously you specialize in IT and your MSP, do you work in any particular verticals more than others, or do you kind of, spread yourselves around?
Yeah, that's kind of a funny thing that we ended up in three different verticals.
Hmm.
We kind of took the clientele that stayed with us when we converted over to the Awesome IT way, and divided them into what percentages do we have.
Okay.
And it turned out to be a lot of law firms, healthcare, and accounting firms.
Yeah.
And so we kind of stuck with those three, and they are our core verticals that we concentrate on.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of MSPs. That's, some of them focus only on healthcare, but, others, like you said, accounting, professional services, seems to be a good fit for most managed service providers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So thinking about customer acquisition, you obviously have customers now, but what about, if you look at growing your business, do you advertise? What do you find has worked for you in terms of customer acquisition?
So I think that's like the toughest question, right? For most of us is like sales is always the hard part. So my strong suit would have to be the marketing aspect.
Okay.
So I market like crazy. But when it comes to the advertising and that kind of thing, those are definitely areas where we have trouble in.
Mm-hmm.
But I do a lot of lunch and learns.
Okay.
I partner with our clients and do lunch and learns
Mm-hmm.
with them for their clients.
Okay.
So it's a good way to have warm leads coming through the door.
Yeah.
So, and not waiting for them to give us referrals, but kind of making that happen. So providing a service for them or something along
Mm-hmm.
those lines, and then being able to meet who they know.
Cool.
So it's been nice having to do that.
Yeah.
We've also done. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's a good way to do
Like,
it, right?
I'll keep talking.
No. Well, just like I said, professional services, right? So their customers are probably other businesses, like
Yeah.
especially like accounting and some of those other areas. So having lunch and learns where they invite their customers, then that obviously you spread your knowledge and it's
Right.
useful for them. But then also you get, like you said, you get some leads, and
Yep.
and hopefully the customer that brought you in to do this is going to say good things about you. So
Absolutely. Exactly.
yeah, it's a great method, I think, especially if you work in those types of verticals, to be able to do that.
Oh yeah, you get to meet colleagues of theirs,
Mm-hmm.
so not just clients and things like that. So it's I feel like that is something that has worked very well for us.
Okay, cool. And other things too. I cut you off there.
Yeah, no. We've done the gamut. So we've done cold calling at some point in time, cold emails, the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily like those per se. They're very important, and especially if done right.
Yeah.
But what I like to do best is the one-on-one, the person aspect of it. So.
Okay. Great. So thinking about the software stack, and what you recommend what is the awesome IT way? What's included in that?
So funny question. I can't tell you everything because then
Okay.
I'll have to go find you. No. um,
I'm easy to find.
No. So what the premise behind that was, we want to just be able to do our jobs in the best way possible. So all the tools that we need in order to do our jobs, as well as the tools that our customers are going to need to do their jobs to their best, then we're going to include as much as possible as value adds on
Mm-hmm.
top of the service.
Okay. So you probably have like a standard stack, but then obviously depending on what they work with and their software and what you recommend or how to work with it and those types of things.
Yes. So when it comes to their software and things like that, they can choose their own proprietary software and that kind of thing. But when it comes to the tools that we use, we choose what that is, and that's why it's kind of all included.
Yep.
We don't want them to go outside and say, "Oh, I can go get my own antivirus." It's like, no,
no, you can't.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
So, and then nowadays with all the security aspect of things
Mm-hmm.
and all that, so it's just better to include everything as a value add than to have it be piecemealed or coming back to the client and saying, oh, hey, there's this new thing out, you should really get it, and it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
X price. So we just throw it in there.
Okay. So then do you work in they call it, all you can eat ASCII. Is that kind of how you model then for your customers? Is this is how much it's going to cost per month or per person or however you price it out, and that includes all this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. For us, it's, my husband Angel always says, if we lived in Star Trek world, we definitely thrive in that, just because we don't want to charge people for anything, but we gotta eat. So we have to charge a fair price. And make sure that our margins are where they're supposed to be in order for our company and our employees to thrive and all of that stuff. And also so that we can offer the things that we do to our clients. Okay.
Great. So thinking about, if you roll back time to when you and Angel got started, now that you have some experience under your belt, what advice do you have for someone who might just be looking to get started in this? Maybe they're currently an intern at a break fix shop and then going on their own. Any advice you have out there?
That is a good one. So when we were first starting, we kind of hid who we were just because we were so young and felt so inexperienced because we were. But I would say that the advice I give is, if you are just starting off, make sure that you are not just thinking about yourself, but your client, having an open and honest relationship, and think about the things that would relate the most between you and the clients. Build your stack, your service, anything like that off of those things, so including who you are in it. And then the very last thing would be skip residential, don't do it.
It's kind of, I've talked to some MSPs that they thrive in residential. but others are like, avoid it like the plague. So
It made me very sad to not be in that aspect of the business just because of the community aspect of it.
Yeah.
But we definitely found our ways of doing that now. So
okay. In terms of community, in terms of the MSPs, right? I mean, obviously you work within your local community and there's a lot of stuff you do there, but working with other MSPs or getting advice and knowledge from the MSP community, what, is that something you do? Are there areas that you guys focus on there?
Yeah, I'm an open book, so I don't know if you could tell that already. So we've been, I found the MSP 501 and then Channel Futures, Channel Partners.
Okay.
And so I've been a part of that community for a few years now, ever since we kind of got into this model, which was 3 years ago.
Okay.
But as we are building our business, I don't mind sharing information. To me, I would love to help the community in any way possible. So like avoid mistakes that we've made or anything along those lines, just because the better we all get in our service offerings and all of that, the better it is in our industry.
Yeah.
So it always feels good to me to get a call from a prospect and they know what an MSP is and they know what monthly fees they should be expecting. And it's more so of a matter of who do you like best as opposed to who's offering what or somebody's trying to undercut or anything along those lines. So if I can offer any help, I definitely would.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you try to explain what you do to other people who aren't in IT and don't understand. I'm like, we help small businesses that don't have their own IT staff, support their computers. That's what a managed service providers. That's as easy as I can make it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I always tell them, I'm like, managed service providers are really. They're what helps small businesses run on a day-to-day basis from an IT perspective, throughout the United States and other parts of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, great. What about trade shows? Do you go to any trade shows?
Yeah, we try to go to 2 a year.
Okay.
It's hard to kind of get out because we still have young children.
Yeah.
But any that are in Houston, thanks for telling me about ASCII earlier before we started recording. And then we've gone to the CompTIA events, the Channel Future events, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And I will be at the Kaseya one, Vegas 2020.
Okay.
So I'm not promoting them. I'm just saying I will be there at that event.
Okay. I don't think we will. But anyway, in terms of, you got into this business, obviously, you and Angel were both young, you stuck with it. What's the best part about what you guys do and being an MSP?
The people. It's not just the clients and our employees, but just meeting other business owners in and out of the industry, and the learning aspect of it. So we have no formal education. So our education has been the sum of our experience and books and everything else. So I think being a part of the MSP world allows me to really look into other aspects of business.
Okay.
That's where I learned from. So.
Okay. No, that's great. What about what's the worst part?
Worst part. Okay, I'm gonna say it. The worst part of being an MSP and being out there is the people that pretend to be MSPs and that want to charge, bottom dollar and not doing customers any favors, or that do the dirty tricks of trying to hold people hostage and all the nasty, ugly things that are out there. That's the worst part, is seeing that is actually happening.
Okay. Understood. Yeah, I read about those a lot in the community groups and stuff like that. So I definitely know where you're coming from there. Switching gears a little bit, thinking about technology. and, whether it's consumer tech or technology that you use in your business, what kind of, whether you're using it today or something in the future, what technologies are you most excited about?
Let me start with what I'm not excited about, because I think that's easier.
That was my next question, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. I am not excited about IoT in the sense of like your refrigerator knowing or having internet, like why.
Yeah.
So those kinds of things. But what I am excited about is that's a good question. I don't know. I have to skip that because there's a lot.
Okay.
There's a lot happening. So because of that, automation is something that I'm not particularly a fan of because I won't do it.
Okay.
But my husband Angel does the automation here for our office, and I see him getting into it and really loving it and enjoying it. And because of that, I'm like, what the outcome of it, what we get to do because of it, that is awesome. So I love that aspect of it.
Okay, great. So are you ready for the rapid fire round?
Ooh.
This is
Let me
easy.
take a breath.
It's easy. It's easy.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Apple or Android?
Apple. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Mac, Linux, or Windows?
Windows.
Amazon, Azure, or something else?
Azure.
Okay. Local backups, cloud, or both?
Both.
Okay. Should you always virtualize?
No.
And finally, which is worse, printer support or vendor cold calls?
Oh, printer support.
I think that's winning right now in terms of what's worse. Especially that goes back probably to your residential days too. I'm sure that was a headache.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My mom calls me about once a month because her printer doesn't work. I'm like, did you restart? No. I'm like, let's restart and see if that works. Oh, yeah, that fixed it. Okay. It's been great talking to you, Nancy. Anything else that I didn't touch on before we leave here?
No, I think you're pretty thorough.
Okay. Again, SabinoCompTech is your company, and I'll have the link in the show notes. You put your story on there, which I think is great for you and Angel. That just talks about leaving home at 17, getting married at 18, and starting your own company. I think it's a great story.
Thank you.
It's even greater because you guys have found success, and it looks like you're doing really well.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yes. So hopefully listeners will click on the link in the show notes and check it out. And I wish you even more success, and hopefully I'll see you maybe in Houston next year at ASCII.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.